Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to our live stream, and we look forward to talking to two very lovely ladies who are going to be helping us to look at the aspect of toxic relationships, whether they're in person or whether it's an organization. Most of us who'll be watching this live stream have come possibly from both of them. Is there any difference between a personal relationship versus an organizational relationship? Well, if you have any questions along these lines, by all means put them in the comments, because our ladies will be willing to answer any questions that you have. So let's bring on some of our ladies. Well, we've got two of them. Welcome, Michaela. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Very good. I'm fine. And let's bring on your offsider, Sarah.
Hello. Hi.
Whereabouts are you ladies situated in the world?
Do you want to go first, Sarah?
Yeah.
Sorry, you didn't hear us.
We're both in England. I'm up in a coastal village in Northumberland, England.
Right. Cool.
And I'm also on the coast as well, a little bit further down at Seaham in England.
Well, it's nice to have you both on our live stream today, and we're looking forward to our live stream and finding out a little bit more information. So, is there any connection with toxic versus healing? Then moving on, just a short, quick sentence, because I know we're going to go into it in more detail, and you're going to give us some practical things to look at. Is there any connection?
Yeah, I would say that if you have been in a toxic relationship and you haven't healed and overcome it, then it closes you down to be able to receive the kind of love, relationships, friendships, and life that you truly desire as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think if we don't look at the same cycle repeating itself, we're just going to keep attracting it. I always think whatever comes into our life is a mirror of what we need to look at. So if we're not looking at that and we're not willing to do that inner work, we're going to keep repeating the same cycles.
Well, that's a good way to put it. So looking at a mirror, just explain that a little bit more. You said that is what we need in our lives?
Yeah, for me, it feels like a lot of the experiences I've been through has been almost a mirror of what I've needed to look at and work on inside myself to overcome, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, that's good. All right, ladies, so now we've got a brief idea. Let's expand on it. Where would you like to start on this particular subject?
Do you want to go first?
I'll let Michaela start.
We're so polite and lovely, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a little bit more background knowledge to understand who we are and where we've came from in life and where we are now. That might be a good start point. So for me, I was born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
And I also went through a number of traumatic events while growing up in the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now I know it's a traumatic thing anyway for anybody growing up in that. It's very you're suppressed.
Yeah.
There's so much fear that's surrounding you all of the time. Fear and worry of not being good enough, not thinking in the best ways, not acting in the best ways, and constantly fearing that you're doing something wrong. Now, that, like I said, that's for everybody who grows up in that. So we've all been part of that, and these are the things and the parts of the cycle that needs to be broken. For instance, I know that like I said to you before, when I was going through the traumatic events, mine was a sexual abuse. So I grew up and I was being sexually abused as a child, and then as a young teenager as well by the same person. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I was actually able to stand up and speak up and get that to stop. But that really affected me on a deep level.
Yeah.
So not only did we have the sexual suppression from the religion, but I also had that to deal with as well. Now, as I was growing up, I think it was 14 when I got baptised, and I knew a couple of years later that I just didn't want to be a witness anymore, but I just didn't have the strength and courage to leave, because, as you know, there's that fear of losing your family, that fear of losing your friends, and not having anything around you that you used to, because that's the way of life that you're used to, and you're told that all like the worldly people are evil, and you'll never have a good life after that, and you'll go down the crack and arm again. The fears are still there, even though there's parts of you that don't believe it and you don't want to be in it. Them fears and they're still there in your head because they've been ingrained. But so when it came to relationships, so I got married when I was 18. Very quick engagement, got married. And I thought when I got married that I was going to be, it was like, right, I've got my freedom. I'm going to have your own house. It's going to be la 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 la. Yep. And it wasn't. It wasn't. So anyway, when I got to the age of 21 and I finally picked up the courage to, I'd done some things that I shouldn't have done. And I knew that I didn't want to be anymore. And I had the strength at that time to leave my husband. I had 2 beautiful children. So I am grateful for that relationship because of my children. But then I moved on and I moved in. It went straight into a domestic violent relationship from that.
Yep.
So again, it was bringing that fear. It was like the underlying fear, and the whole way that we're supposed to obey the men, be submissive and all that. So like I said, I took that and it went into a domestic violent relationship. Now I managed to escape that after a year.
Good.
I escaped and paddled as fast as I could to the police station, and I got took to a women's shelter. Now, throughout the years after that, I was in a dark place for a long time, and I felt like I was cursed in relationships and that all men were bad. I was always on the lookout for faults within people so that I could close myself off and hide so I never got hurt. I totally closed my heart down, and I wasn't able to at that time because I was just full of trauma, full of fear of abandonment because of the whole shun thing as well, fear of not being good enough. Just so many fears, so much fear for my life, fear for my kids. There was just so much, and like I said, that took a while to move through. And even when I started moving through it, like I said, I was still on the lookout for one thing wrong. That was literally my thing. If they had one thing wrong, they were gone. I just could not open my heart enough. But then I did meet someone that I did start opening my heart up to, but then again it turned into the cycle of abuse again. Now it wasn't during the relationship, it was near the end of the relationship. He showed his true colours. It was like he was very jealous and insecure. He thought I'd gone with all of his mates. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And then, like I said, it turned into mental and emotional abuse when I left him, and fearing for my life again. That same fear that I had when I left the domestic violent relationship and while I was with the first one, that fear was through my body because I hadn't, on a deep level, I hadn't released it as well at that time. And it came flooding back. The whole body literally shaken. had to get the police involved. It was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. But then, like I said, I went on a journey, and I was like, I felt so off track in life. I just knew that I had to change, and I didn't want to keep repeating the same patterns again. I didn't want the same things to keep happening. I needed change. I knew I needed my life to change. I had to. So I pulled back and I stopped myself from getting in relationships. Like I just, shut off from relationships completely from men. And I stayed single for a good, I can't even remember how many years, good few years while I sorted myself out. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should do that. Not for years, not the way I did. But everyone deals with things in different ways, and everyone's journey is different. But yes, it was through the personal development that I did. And we were talking about this before, weren't we, Sarah? Our starting points. I came across, first and foremost, it was Paul McKenna. And it was I Can Change Your Life in 7 days. I was like, oh, I want that book. 7 days, bring it on. Obviously, it wasn't 7 days, but never mind. So that was the starting point of me having that seed and that I need to change. It was like the boom. So, like I said, I started reading that. They had a meditation thing in the back where you were visualising your future and stuff like that. And then my friend brought round a DVD called The Secret.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So we watched that and I was like, whoa. Now, I did take some stuff in then. about the laws of attraction and about how your thoughts and beliefs create your reality, and how you can change your reality by changing your beliefs and thoughts and put yourself on a different path or bring in and attract what you want. So that was the starting point. It wasn't the whole story. It's not the whole story. It's just a little fragment of, I'm going to say a truth there.
Every time the ladies from last week's live stream, every time they said the truth, they had to have a drink.
I've got a drink of water.
Oh, there you go.
I'll have a drink of water.
It's like 10:30 in the morning here, so maybe.
10:30 in the morning. Well, don't start drinking too much. Can I just ask you one question?
It's a bit early for that.
It is. Can I just ask you one question, Michaela? Through all that time, was there one thing that stood out in your head that made you go in a different direction away from the cycles that you were going through?
Yeah, it was like I said, it was just a deep, because I went on a wild partying, taking drugs, being the life and soul of the party, proper party girl. And in that time, it felt like there was still a dark, even though I was like, hey, party girl, it was like this dark cloud was still hanging over us. And I got to a point where I knew, one of the things what was, because I used to drink a lot as well at the time, my young little daughter, when we were at the shop, she said, Mum, you forgot your bottle of wine. You need your bottle of wine. And I was like, whoa. I am not having my kids thinking that you need wine, you need alcohol every day, or you need it as part of your life. That was a big one of the things. And like I said, I felt so off track. You know, when you have a deep sense of knowing that you're just not on the right path. There's just it was a need to change. I need to change. I knew I couldn't keep on going on the way I'd been going on.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Sarah, what about yourself? What's a little bit of your background?
So I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness. Interestingly, my mum got involved with it way before my dad. My dad actually moved my mum away from the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Did he?
Yeah. He got into it and he moved her completely away because he was quite opposed to it all. But then he got very involved with it 8 years later.
Oh, did he?
I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness. I was one of 5. So I've got 3 brothers and a sister. And my mum was a regular pioneer. Her whole life is dedicated and devoted to Jehovah. We were very much secondary. Her service to God was far more important than being a mum.
Yes.
My dad got very involved with it and became a ministerial servant, became an elder. So he turned full circle with it. But I did suffer quite a lot of trauma growing up. There were lots of things that happened in our own family. And my brothers and sisters left, and I was the only one left in it. So I think the big thing for me, Michaela is talking a lot about fear, and I was thinking, what was it for me? And the word that came up was control. I felt so controlled as a girl, as a teenager. That I rebelled at every opportunity, but then always felt guilty. Felt so guilty over the choices. Felt like Jehovah was watching me. All of that guilt and suppression and control. And so what I did was dedicated myself to God. Became a regular pioneer. Got married to a person in very high standing. His dad was the presiding overseer. I wanted to please my parents. A lot of what I did was very much about seeking other people's approval, wanting to please people, wanting to keep people happy. Even as a child, I did that. I would take the blame for things that weren't my fault to keep others happy. So mine was very much around control and sacrificing myself for other people constantly. When I was around 23, 24, that's when I started to kind of wake up and think, I can't deal with this control. I've just written it down because it came back to me what I used to feel like. I always felt, and I don't know if anybody else resonates with this. I know a few people said hello as we were doing the live stream, so hello to everybody watching. But one of the things that I really felt growing up and as a late teenager, early 20s, was I always felt like I was an actress playing out a part.
Okay.
I felt like I was always watching myself act out a part, and it wasn't me, that I wasn't being authentic, but I didn't know who I really was. I didn't know who Sarah was. So I left it. I actually left it at the age of 24, got disfellowshipped, but immediately fell into a toxic narcissistic relationship with a man that was a lot older than me. Controlled. So my thing was control. He controlled me. He decided what I wore and what I said, what I did. From that relationship, moved on to another relationship where I was very controlled. I was the domestic goddess. My ex-partner, who's my children's dad, believed that the woman's place was in a home. And I kind of fell back into that, what we were taught as a child. And it took my brother coming to visit me and saying, Sarah, you've just swapped one thing for another, for exactly the same situation, but a different religion. They were Catholic. And that was kind of my light bulb moment as to, oh my God, like, I'm always in a controlling situation. I'm always in a controlling relationship. And who am I underneath all that? What do I want? Why am I pleasing everybody else constantly? So that was kind of my journey with it. And when I left him, which was 8 years ago, actually 2 days ago, it was 8 years.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of fell apart, because I didn't know who I was. Apart from this person that pleased everybody else, I had no idea who Sarah was, what I wanted in relationship. So I kind of went on a bit of a thing as, I love what Michaela did, took this time out and knew who she was. In this time, I went the opposite. I kind of was on a different date every week.
Okay.
Seeking clarity as to, what kind of man do I want in my life? What kind of relationship do I want? But because of the low vibration I was in and the place I was in, I was obviously still attracting narcissistic, controlling or toxic relationships. And it took a lot of work on myself, very similar to Michaela, a lot of self-development work. As Michaela said, it's like we're sharing a tiny part of the story, but you know, it took realizing that actually I need to become the heroine of my own story.
Great. Yeah.
I think that was the biggest light bulb for me.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, congratulations for doing that and to getting where you are now, both of you. It's wonderful to see it. It's a good example for those ones like yourselves who've come out of there where women are pushed down, subdued, not allowed to say, to do, to be anything that they really want.
Yeah.
I like your way you talked about it with regards to being an actress, because the more I look at it, that's what I'm seeing. And I didn't realize it when I was in. So how did you two connect then?
I can't remember which group. We met on Facebook, didn't we? First, we connected.
Yeah, but it wasn't an ex-Jehovah's Witness group.
No.
It was a group. It was a group about freedom. It was a group about being freedom fighters, and freedom is a deep core value of mine. And I can't remember the guy. Oh, actually, it's the guy that done Simple Reminders, which is huge actually now. He created a group, and it was all about being freedom fighters. And Michaela had commented on something I'd put, and I just instantly knew she was an ex-JW. And I messaged her going, "Were you an ex-Jehovah's Witness by any chance?" And she's like, "Oh my God, yes." That's how we
had a bit of a comment come in for you, Sarah.
Oh, okay. So you said you fell to a narcissistic abuser after you left JWs. Is that because you saw the familiarity and felt comfort in a little way, so you fell for it? Yes, I would say that in the second relationship with the kid's dad. Okay. Absolutely. Not the first one. When I first left it, I didn't fall for the comfort. Actually, he was completely the opposite. Oh. He introduced me to this world that I'd never known. You know, all the things that we weren't supposed to do. He introduced me to, you know, I was like the queen of rebellion and wildness. And, you know, he took me abroad all the time, and we drank all the time, and there was lots of partying, lots of fun, lots of craziness. So I think I was attracted to him because I went from control to thinking, oh my God, I'm so free. But actually, I didn't see then that he was controlling me, but in a very different way. It was still control, but very subtle. What I wore, all the time, it was what I wore, what I looked like, what we did. Yeah. So I would say it was the last relationship with the children's dad that was when I took clarity because of the fear. I guess what Michaela was saying about fear was I then started to think because he hurt me so badly, that person that I got with, I then retracted, you know, as we do. We were told, weren't we, that I remember the elders saying to me when I left, I had 4 elders, and I was sat there with my ex-husband, 4 elders, and for 2 hours, they bombarded me before I left and said, "You're never going to be happy. You're never going to find true happiness. You're never going to find true love. God will punish you. Everything, bad things will happen." My parents said to me, "If you leave, we're not going to be there for you. If anything bad happens, we don't want to know." And I think what happened was he hurt me so bad that I fell back into, I need something that feels secure. I need something that feels like home. And that's why I went into a relationship that was so similar to what I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness. Rocky saying, was it a charisma? Yes, it was charisma.
Absolutely. So looking at both your examples, the thoughts just gone out of my head. You got to the point where you've started to work on yourself, personal development. Looking back on that time, and obviously it's a different time period for each one of you, what's your view on your journey thus far compared to being in the J-Dubs?
It's been absolutely, yes, exactly. It has been an incredible journey. Truly, truly incredible. Mind blowing at times. Exciting. It's still, obviously, I've still had me ups and downs. We're still human, aren't we? We've still had things to deal with when they come up. But I've found that since going on my personal journey of healing, transformation, deeper connection to myself and to me heart's desires, and being able to then move forward and open up and receive them, like I said, including the life, the relationships, the love, the sex life, everything that I wanted at one time I have now. And I can't remember where I was going. The first bit, what you said, sorry, or the journey. That was it.
The journey, yeah. Great.
Yes, like I said, it's been mind blowing, and it seems to be gaining momentum again for even better coming along.
Cool. What about you, Sarah? I saw you going like this. Yeah.
Honestly, knowing, it gets me quite emotional actually, but knowing who I am outside of that is the best gift I've ever given to myself. Like, I know who I am. I know what I want. I've created a life that I truly love. I'm free. I'm authentic. It's like I've experienced all the things they told me when I left that I wouldn't experience. I've experienced. I've experienced freedom, happiness, joy, love, the most amazing soul sister friendships. You know, I've experienced so much that they told me that I would never have.
Yep.
And that is just, it does get me emotional, because it's like, it's the deepest gift you can give yourself, but you have to be prepared to do the inner work.
Definitely.
Got to be prepared to do the inner work. Yeah.
Now, both of you have mentioned that when you realized, you woke up and you looked at what you were going through and then goes, no, I don't want this anymore. Would you have done anything differently? No?
Ooh, big question. You know what? No, even the pain, the heartache, what I've been through, because it's taught me everything, and it's made me become who I am.
Exactly. I second that as well, totally.
All right. I've had a question come in. Did you find listening to your own intuition, gut, has helped rather than listening to the stories others pointed to for you?
Do you want to answer that, Sarah, first? Or
Yeah. I like the way they've said this about others painted for you. I like that. I think this is a great question. I didn't even know what my intuition was.
Okay.
I didn't know, but all I went on was, I think gut and intuition is slightly different. I went on this gut feeling that this was wrong, even though everybody told me that I should be in it. I trusted my gut at the age of 24, but I didn't know what my true intuition was. That took time. That took time to listen to. But yeah, absolutely. You trust your guts. Your intuition is your superpower. Your guts, your intuition, especially as women, you know, and that's, but as a woman, we see red flags and we ignore them. Trust it. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. You can learn to develop such a strong relationship with your intuition that you just make all the right choices and right decisions because you know yourself so well. So yes, listen to that. Absolutely.
I think it does take time to develop, like you said, to hone in and tune into your intuition as well.
Yep.
So for me, there was times where I thought things were intuitions as well, but they weren't. It was fears that were coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So it's learning to decipher what is actually fear and what is your true intuition.
Totally.
But like I said, that can take time to develop.
It does. I think everybody has those red flags, because I look back on my life and I go, oh, that was a red flag, and I never saw it
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, Michaela, it takes time to train. Well, you said it as well, Sarah. So looking at where you got to the stage, you started to heal yourself. What would be a good way for somebody, would you suggest, to start if they're in the situation where they're going, what could be a first step to start helping yourself?
Do you want to answer that one, Michaela?
I think taking care of yourself first and foremost. For me, what instantly came to mind is grounding and getting out in nature. That helps to clear your mind and open you up.
Okay.
To then hear maybe step forwards of what you can do next, where you can go next. Because, like I said, if you're stuck in the emotion and the fear and the worry, sometimes your mind's clouded. So I think self-care is really an important step. But like I said, everybody's at a different point in where they're at. So it depends, like I said, depends where they're at the moment. It might be a person that they're drawn to that can help them. It might be a book. It might be a YouTube video. Your journey can just take off of self-development and healing. And I found that even in our own life, things have been placed there at the perfect time to help us. Things have been, like, I remember this book, right? I met somebody when I was at that point where I knew I needed a change. I met somebody on holiday and he was a Buddhist.
Okay.
And he was placed there at the perfect time. And he blew my mind with his philosophies, absolutely blew my mind with his philosophies and about the universe. And I was like, whoa. So straight away I wanted to go. When I got home, I went straight to the library to look up Buddhism. I thought, oh, what's all this? Let's go learn this. I was excited. But when I went there, I was literally magnetized to a book. And that really changed my life.
Cool.
So
what about you, Sarah?
I would agree with Michaela very much that I think my mantra has always been, and I say this to people at the start of their journey, is to be open and curious. Okay. Be open and curious. We were never taught to be open and curious.
Yeah.
We were told that this was the truth and this is what you do. You allow yourself to be open and curious to what comes your way. It could be a book. My very first thing was a book. It was The Secret, actually. And realizing when I read that book, I remember thinking, I get to decide. I get to decide what I think, what I feel, what happens in my life. I get to decide. It just blew me away. That's a brilliant, great place to start the book, The Secret, just as a starting point. Just be open and curious to what comes your way. It could be a person that you resonate with. It could be an event. It could be something, it's just being open and curious and allowing yourself to take that next little step and keep following the next step that feels intuitively right for you.
Okay, cool. We had another question come in. Have you ladies become more self-aware that there's also toxic thing we develop within ourselves?
Absolutely, Stella. Yeah. For me, I realized the more work I did, the more self-development work I did. I call it the shadow side of us. There is a shadow side of us that, and this is what I talked about the mirror right at the start. Sometimes things come into our life or people come into our life, and we need to be open and honest with ourselves and say, have I attracted that because I am also doing that? I'm not always saying that around narcissistic and toxic relationships, but always just saying, is there a part of me that perhaps has that tendency, and not from a place of criticism, a place of evaluation, a place of self-love. Is there a part of me. And I'm being honest, I have had toxic, absolutely, because I was never taught anything else. I was very angry, so angry, as a young mum on my own. My dad was very angry. There was a lot of hypocrisy in as a child. My dad would hit me, hit us all. I got a black eye from my dad. Very angry, suppressed anger. And that anger, I'm going to admit this, that anger was then in my house, in my home, in relationships. I had toxic tendencies that I had to work on. Absolutely. Yeah. That's part of doing the inner work.
What about you, Michaela?
I have, like Sarah, I totally agree with Sarah regarding the mirror side of things. Now, for me, it was, I used to have so much shame, self-hate. I used to talk to myself like absolute terrible.
Yeah.
Crap. But because of the shame and the guilt and the not feeling good enough and not feeling worthy, like I said, I attracted people like a mirror, that made me, triggered them feelings that were already inside of us.
Same here.
Yeah. So I mean, I have, you know what, and I'm being completely honest here as well. When I was with the second person who was emotionally and mentally abusive and insecure and all of that, I realised, well, I didn't realise then, when I was with my partner who I'm with now at the beginning of our relationship, although I didn't show it to him because I knew that I had to work on it within myself, I had massive jealousy, insecurity. My thoughts would think all sorts of crazy things. And literally, I used to get pictures of Ian in my head, the one who was abusive, and how he used to go on. And I thought, because that's how I was used to think, how's that coming about? I'm not like that. I'm not like him. I haven't got those bits in me. How's he a mirror of me? When I was like trying to investigate within myself and look within. But like I said, at the beginning of my relationship, those fears, insecurities, jealousies, everything came out. But because I have the skills and the tools to assist myself and to recognise those patterns and those parts within myself, the shadow parts, as you would say,
yep.
I was able to work through these and release them to help open up my whole being to receive greater love within relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just another, it's slightly off the subject, but we've had a question come in for you, Michaela. Did your husband cause you any issues with your children?
No, he didn't. To be honest, he didn't. He tried his best. He wasn't the domestic violence one, by the way, the first one. So the Ben's dad, he has always tried his best. I'll put it that way. I'll be nice, because like I said, he is my children's father, and I appreciate him because I've got my kids.
Yep.
So I was lucky that way. I had a larger part, I'll say, in my children's upbringing than what he was involved in, but he did his best.
Yep. It's one blessing that you've got from your relationship with him, your children.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
for the world.
cool. That's very nice to hear, the way it should be, not like conditional J-dubs. Okay, so asking questions, researching ourselves, doing things, good first step. What would the next step be, or could be, because like you mentioned, everybody's different with the journey that they're going on. What do you think, Sarah?
Well, I mean, we would love you to join us on a next step. We are actually running a free event for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
You mean this one here?
Is it there? That's the one. Yeah, we're running a free event. Wow, I'm quite impressed with that.
I know, I was just thinking it looks good, that.
free event. Michaela and I have wanted to do something for a long time to help XJW women, and we would absolutely love women to come along and discover what we believe are the 4 key things that have really helped me and Michaela step into who we're here to be, and be our true selves, and kind of let go of the past. Shane and I had a little conversation before around there's too much sometimes emphasis in staying where you are and being obsessed with they did this wrong, they did that wrong. Forget that. What about you? What about your life? What about you now? What about your future? For us, we would love that if that was your next step. If that doesn't feel right and we don't resonate with you, I would say your next step is just to be open and curious and start trusting your gut and intuition as to what that could be for you. What is that next step for you? It could be a book, it could be a person, it could be just something. Just be open to what might unfold.
And
true.
And enjoy it as well, because it is such an incredible journey when you start delving into self-healing, into self-development. It is quite a magical time, really. I know it has been for me. Without a doubt, I've learned and grown so much, and I'm so grateful for the path that I've decided to take. I'm so grateful for my life that I've had, like Sarah was saying, even the pain, the trauma, everything, because it's created the powerhouse that I am and the powerhouse that we are today. And we're able to then help and assist others in the greatest ways possible that we can as well.
Well, it comes across on you two ladies. So what sort of things are you going to be looking at when it comes to the online course? And we'll make sure the link is put down in the comment section or the description on YouTube. What sort of things are you going to look at?
I think we want to be, well, one, we want women to have a voice.
Cool.
You know, we want them to be heard. We want them to have a voice. That's really important for both of us, because we didn't have a voice. So we want that to be a container, a safe place for women to have a voice and tell us how they're feeling and help and support them in whatever way. My t-shirt even says sisterhood. we're here to create, I guess, a different kind of sisterhood where we can awaken and own who we really are and own our power. We will be touching on things, the 4 things that we believe helped us. We've looked at it a little bit today around developing the inner things that we need, you know, what that really takes, and share openly and honestly our journey. But it's not really about our journey, it's about how to help them. So we don't want to give away too much, but you know, on here.
I think another thing that I can add to that as well is through the coaching that we've done with other people in the past, over the years, we've noticed patterns as well, and these 4 things come up, and there are ways to transform your life. Four things that are key ingredients to unlock and create the life that you do want, unlock and create the relationships, the love, whatever it is that you want to bring in. And understand and connect with yourself on a deeper level, be able to form greater connections with others, be able to form greater relationships, friendships, to go for things and not be held back. Because when these 4 things that we're going to be sharing with other people, when they are not worked on, you can feel like you shrink and you're held back. Or you might trying to move forward and trying your best, but feel like you're either, like I said, being held back or stuck in the mud, and you cannot move forward. There might be things that people actually might know where they want to go forward in life or what they actually want, but without working on yourself on a deep level and using like tools and techniques and to help uncover and unlock and free yourself up to move forward. Yeah, that's what we're going to be sharing anyway. I don't want to go, like I said, I don't want to go into too much because it'll be like
That's fine. So if for those ones in the audience, or they might come across it, when's the, I notice on there it says the September the 26th.
25th, isn't it?
Does it
Oh,
say
it'll be 26th of my time.
Oh yeah, it'll be your time. Yeah, it's
My time.
Yeah, it's the 25th in UK time at 3:00 in the afternoon. So yeah, will that be? I'm not sure what that time would be in your time, Shane.
Oh, it's just 3 a.m. New Zealand time, but that's okay.
Dear, we didn't do that well.
Well, no, New Zealand's a small part of the world, so But, so anybody who goes onto the page, the time will be in your time zone. So you don't have to hunt out the time. You can work out if you can make it. And I would encourage you to do that. Our ladies have put it together to be of help and support and encouragement. Take hold of one of these resources. As you can see, lovely ladies, aren't they? So please reach out to them. Now, if somebody misses that particular event, what other ways can they get hold of you?
So will there be, sorry, first of all, I'll just ask Sarah, because she's done these events before on Eventbrite. Did they get a recording of that as well in case they're not in the right time zone?
Yeah, I mean, this is our first event together doing this. We've both been coaching for many years, but this is our first event together. So we haven't discussed that actually, but yes, possibly. I mean, the way that I run my events when I do them is sign up anyway, and you can get a recording. You know, so even if you can't make it, you can get the recording. But usually the recording is only available for a certain amount of time because we want to incentivize people to actually watch it. You know, because it's watching it that's going to make the biggest difference. They can find us on Instagram. We have Own Your Power XJW on Instagram and on Facebook. So on Facebook and Instagram, we tend to be on Instagram more because we can do lives and Instagram stories on there. But it's Own Your Power XJW. And they can come and follow us there and learn more. And, you know, let's get supported, feel connected with other XJW women too.
I think that's the first time we've shared our Facebook page. We haven't even asked anybody to join that yet, have we?
Well, what we'll get you ladies to do is send us through or even under the thank you in the Facebook group, put those links so that the woman can come along. What happens if a guy wants to come along?
But what we've decided for this one with the content, we would prefer. It's more honed towards women for this one, but we are open definitely to be working with men at a later date, without a doubt, because men need help too.
Yeah, they do.
And we understand that, without a doubt. But for this one, specific one, it's for women.
Yeah.
Great. Well done for putting it together.
Thank you.
It's great to see.
Giving us this platform to be able to share that with others as well, and to be able to.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it is something that needs to happen. We're all being traumatized. We've all come from that toxic environment, which sometimes we struggle. It burns us.
Yeah.
So it's great. So what are some of the other practical suggestions? It's a great one. We've got the online event that the ladies can go to. What are some of the other practical suggestions that you could suggest with regards to working on the healing side of things? I know you mentioned books. It might be a person, like in Michaela's case. Is there anything else? Maybe we're a little bit shy to go to an event like this that you're talking about on the 25th your time.
Well, they're more than welcome to reach out to either me or Sarah, or on our Instagram to message us personally. We're both in the Instagram and we're both in the Facebook page. So we're more than willing to support as well if they need any pointers and directions. And if they need any encouragement as well, if they don't feel as confident, we can boost them up a little bit to join in, because like I said, if they don't feel confident enough to actually join the live event, which it would be great to have you all there with us, but they can always watch the replay if that's the case. But join us. Feel free to join us, because that's the strength in numbers, as they would say. You feel more empowered when you're around empowered people, especially people who have been through the same kind of things that you've been through, who've moved past and beyond it and become empowered and are able to assist you as well. Shine the light back on the path.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think when women circle, magic can happen. And we were never taught that. But actually, when women do come together, and I've seen that happen in my own coaching work, when women come together, magic happens. And it is always outside our comfort zone that magic happens. So sometimes we do have to put past the fear, the resistance, to say, okay, I'm going to do this for myself. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for someone else. You're doing it for you and your life and your future. So I absolutely endorse what Michaela's saying. And practical suggestions, I think Michaela mentioned before about getting out in nature, books, journaling was massive for me. That really helped. But reach out for support. I would say my biggest transformation has happened through support.
Yeah, same here. It has been through support, either if it's been coaches or teachers. They've been placed at the perfect time for us.
Yeah.
To learn and grow and develop to that next level. And I have noticed as well, I don't know if it's been the same for you, Sarah, once I've gone and learned and grown in one way, then the next thing's been present on the path as well. It's like the next stepping stone and the next person and the next thing that helps you to advance and grow and expand.
Definitely.
And heal on a deeper level as well.
I know this might bring up some resistance for some people, because I felt like this for many years. I did not believe in God after I left it. I shut down completely from anything to do with God, source, whatever. But you know, when everything changed for me was when I actually asked. I still don't know if that's God. I believe that's the universe supporting me, but I kind of just asked for some kind of sign. Just give me a sign as to what I need to do next. And that's when things started to fall into place. The next book came, the next coaching course came, the next person came into my life. I just kept saying, well, I don't know whether that's to yourself or to source or whatever, but you just keep saying, what's the next step for me? Show me.
Yeah.
Show me what the next step is. And it will be shown to you if we're open and curious. Yeah.
So if there's a lady or a man out there feeling quite sorry for themselves, what would you say to them?
That no matter what they've been through in the past, that things can change. No matter what you've been through in the past, you can overcome them, and you can go on to create and live a life that you're blown away by. Literally, I know in the past, I used to feel sorry for myself. I used to get really down. In fact, I tried to kill myself twice in the past. Twice, I don't know if it was more, but twice that I remember in my head right now. And I felt like I didn't want to go on. I felt like I couldn't go on. I couldn't see the way forward. I couldn't see change. But by my goodness, change came. If you really just know that change can happen and things can always get better. The person who I was back then would be mind blown at how I think, feel, am, and what I have in life now. Absolutely blown away.
I completely agree with Michaela. I 7 years ago tried to take my life. On my own, 2 kids, attempted suicide. And I am so grateful for not doing that, because I think the thing that I want to share with anybody that's feeling that way is you are enough exactly as you are. Again, this gets me emotional. I'm quite a sensitive soul, but they are enough right now. You are 1,000 times enough exactly as you are. And to just believe that you're enough to invest in you. You are worthy. You are worthy of having a life that you absolutely love. And you can be blown away by what life could give you.
Yep.
Again, like Michaela, that woman 7 years ago, if she knew what was in store for her these last 7 years, and I'm only just beginning, Shane. That's how I feel. I'm only just beginning.
Right.
And yet these 7 years has been incredible.
Cool.
You know, just know that you're worthy, and that reach out to someone.
What I'd also like to add as well, that you're absolutely lovable exactly as you are as well. Truly lovable.
Yeah.
Great. Now, I've not asked anybody this on any of the live streams we've done. What's one of each one of you will have most probably more than one, but what's a saying that really helps you? I know it would have been different from whether it's 7 or 8 years ago. You would have not had a positive saying, I guess. But now, what's one saying after all the work you've done, all the healing you've done on your journey, because it's going to keep on going for the rest of our lives, what's one thing at the moment, one saying that both of you really appreciate being able to tell yourself?
I'll let Michaela go first.
One of the things that has been coming up for me is I'm loved, I'm supported, I'm worthy, I'm free.
Cool.
There's been many things. I say a lot of mantras and affirmations. I'm kind of sifting through them, going, which is the one? Which is the one? Not right now, but the one that's helped me when I was in a low place was "This too shall pass."
Yeah.
This too shall pass. When I've had challenges with my kids or in relationship or anything, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This is a season. It's just a season in my life.
Yeah.
And now, where I am now, I would say it's more about I am worthy. I am worthy of stepping fully into being who I'm here to be and who I'm here to help. I'd say that's probably where I am now.
That feels powerful as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure you could go on for hours and hours of the different things that you, and it's, I don't know, I put you on the spot because I just asked for one, but they do change.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do. I really want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being your authentic selves, for sharing some very personal things.
Thank you.
And for anybody who's wanting to join the event, we'll make sure the link is out there. Please reach out to the ladies. Both Michaela and Sarah would love to be of assistance to you. We've seen what they're like. We've heard their stories. We know some of the journey that's going on in their lives up to this time. Make use of this resource. So for those who have been here, thank you once again, ladies, for being on the live stream. For those who are in the audience, we've appreciated you being here. If you have any questions, please put them down below, whether it's on Facebook and Twitter or on YouTube, and we'll make sure you get the ladies to give you an answer, to be able to encourage you, to be able to support you, to get that life that you want, to get away from that toxicity and be able to heal. And you've heard the stories, what sort of life they've got now. Well, it's truth. It's a fact. And it can happen to you. So until next time, we look forward to seeing you again. We'll say bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, ladies.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.